Everybody for praying for me. I was in the hospital. My heart's only beating like 25%, but as long as I stay focused and stay on the right path, then everything will be all right.
Ray J says he's living on borrowed time, and he's using what he claims are his final 3 months to tear down the Kardashian empire. This time, he insists the FBI is listening. For weeks, most people dismissed his outbursts as the ramblings of a man unraveling. Another celebrity meltdown. Another cautionary tale. But last night's livestream changed the tone completely. This wasn't chaos, it was a warning. He issued a direct threat. He referenced a federal RICO case. He compared what he claims is coming to Diddy's downfall, then went further. Worse than Diddy. And he didn't end the stream with a plea for help. He ended it with a message that sounded like a last will and testament. According to people inside his circle, Ray J's heart is functioning at just 25%. He's on 8 prescriptions. Doctors are discussing a pacemaker. His sister, Brandy Norwood, has reportedly covered his bills for the rest of the year. His ex-wife controls access to his children. And despite all of this, he's accelerating, not slowing down. That's the part that doesn't fit the broken man narrative. If this were just a spiral, why name names? Why invoke federal law? And why announce a trip to Haiti in 2 weeks, a trip no one can verify? While promising to livestream the entire journey, people close to him say this isn't a breakdown, it's a calculation.
Now, Ray J does need our prayers. It ain't got nothing to do with him, being a really, really good, big, nice sponsor up over here. But we want him to see another day. He's a fun guy. I don't have any qualms with him. Ray J is just Ray J. He's just Brandy's little bad brother.
Just 48 hours after doctors confirmed how severe his condition was, Ray J went live and directly called out Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian. Not emotionally, not vaguely, precisely. He spoke like someone who believes the end game is already set. The official story floating around this morning paints him as unstable, a man undone by health issues, legal trouble, and personal failures after last year's Thanksgiving incident, and the protective order that followed. But that story ignores the timeline. His hospitalization wasn't just a medical emergency. It was the moment, according to insiders, that he stopped playing by the rules. Ever since Kris Jenner took a polygraph in 2022 denying involvement in the release of the 2007 tape, Ray J has insisted the truth was buried. Back then, he had anger, but no leverage. Now, with his body failing, he appears to believe his only remaining weapon is exposure, or at least the threat of it. For a family known for controlling narratives with surgical precision, that silence is deafening. Some insiders believe the strategy is simple. Wait him out, let his health, credibility, or time run out first. But that theory collapses when you look at his behavior. He isn't retreating. He's documenting everything, broadcasting his movements, setting deadlines. A man with a failing heart doesn't plan an international trip into chaos unless he's running towards something, or away from something. And the Haiti trip? That feels less like medical hope and more like a line in the sand. The financial angle only deepens the mystery. Brandy Norwood stepping in isn't just family loyalty, it's a lifeline. And lifelines usually come with conversations behind closed doors. She's not just his sister, she's a seasoned professional with her own advisors. If she's keeping him afloat, it suggests this story is bigger than anyone's admitting. What's being overlooked is how closely this mirrors the early stages of other industry collapses. Whispers, then silence. Then Psalm.
Background, remember our last report that we did, he was telling us that he was told by a doctor, a heart doctor, that his heart is only operating at 25%. So I'm assuming he's talking about that same doctor. This is where he's getting this information from. But yeah, so after he was released from the hospital in Vegas, that's when he gave us a 25% update. And then this is the newest update. So he's home. And I'm not for sure which information exactly he was given because this is how he sums it up. But it does sound like it seems like they're giving him a corrective course that he needs to be on.
Then silence. Then, someone inside the circle talking when they're no longer afraid of consequences. Ray J doesn't have the money, the legal firepower, or public sympathy. What he does have is something far more dangerous. Nothing left to lose, and a camera pointed straight at the people he says built their empire on buried truths. So now we're left with a countdown, a failing heart, a family that won't respond, and a man who says he's already accepted the outcome. If he's lying, this ends badly for him. If he's telling the truth, it could end badly for a lot more people. The real question isn't whether Ray J is unraveling. It's whether this is the final meltdown of a broken man, or the first move in a takedown that's been 19 years in the making. Drop your theories below. Because one thing is clear, this isn't over. Not even close. If you want, A shorter, punchier version or a more neutral documentary-style rewrites say the word. Say less. You want it more extreme, more ominous, higher stakes. Like the internet is watching something forbidden unfold in real time. Here we go. Ray J says the clock is no longer ticking. He claims he has 3 months left to live. And instead of retreating, instead of apologizing, instead of disappearing, he's going straight at the most protected family in entertainment. And this time, he says the FBI is already listening. For weeks, the public laughed it off. Another Ray J spiral. Another late-night rant from a man everyone decided was finished. But last night's live stream didn't feel unstable. It felt deliberate, cold, almost ceremonial. This wasn't a meltdown. This was a declaration. He didn't hint. He didn't imply. He named names. Kris Jenner, Kim Kardashian. He invoked federal law, RICO, and then said something that made even seasoned industry watchers pause. This is worse than Diddy. That's not desperation talking. That's someone who believes the door is already open and can't be closed. Then came the sign-off. Burn me. Don't bury me. Not a cry for help. A warning.
They're mentally messed up. They're whether you got a $2 billion budget or you got a 200,000, everybody's done. They're going crazy. Suicidal.
Behind the scenes, the situation is darker than anyone wants to admit. His heart is reportedly functioning at 25%. 8 prescriptions, doctors discussing a pacemaker. His sister, Brandy Norwood, quietly covering his bills for the rest of the year. His ex-wife controlling access to his children. His body failing, and yet his movements are speeding up. That's the part that breaks the narrative. Men who are giving up don't plan. They don't document. They don't set timelines. Ray J is doing all 3. Just 48 hours after doctors confirmed how severe his condition really is, he went live and issued a direct threat. Not to the internet, not to the industry, but straight at the Kardashian core. And he didn't sound scared. He sounded like someone who already knows how this ends. Entertainment sites rushed to frame this as a tragedy in progress. A troubled star unraveling after the Thanksgiving incident. The protective order. The custody dispute. The final straw. But that version ignores the order of events. His hospitalization wasn't the collapse. People close to him say he's been sitting on information for years, ever since the 22 polygraph Kris Jenner took, denying involvement in the release of the 2007 tape. Back then, Ray J exploded online, but he had no leverage, just rage. A dying man doesn't bluff the federal government, and he doesn't announce an unverified trip to Haiti, a country in crisis, unless he's either chasing something the US can't touch or escaping something that's closing in. The fact that he plans to live stream the entire trip is what's making insiders uneasy. People who are hiding don't broadcast. People who are running towards something do. And then there's the silence. For a family that built an empire on narrative control, this isn't restraint, it's strategy.
And I mean, just the funny part about this is that when you're that rich, you just do what you do. Yeah, and totally. This time, the police came and they kind of schooled him, which I think is really interesting. It doesn't matter that it's Jeff Bezos.
Right.
But, by the way, we should say, it was thrown by Chris's daughters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some believe they're waiting him out, letting his health, credibility, or heart give out first. Others think something more calculated is happening. That he's being isolated. That the silence isn't passive, it's containment. Because if Ray J really has what he claims, the worst place for him is inside their jurisdiction. The money only deepens the mystery. Brandy Norwood stepping in isn't just sisterly love, it's intervention. She's not reckless. She doesn't move without counsel. If she's keeping him afloat, it suggests conversations the public will never hear. This isn't about the tape anymore. It's about leverage. And who controls the final version of history? What people are whispering now is that Ray J isn't acting alone. The timing is too perfect. His hospitalization, the Diddy conviction shaking the industry, the sudden confidence to invoke federal crimes on camera. This looks less like a breakdown and more like the next domino leaning forward. A man with nothing left to lose, a failing heart, and a camera pointed at the most powerful matriarch in pop culture is not harmless. He's volatile. And volatility is dangerous when silence is the only response. So now we're watching a countdown. 3 months. A disappearing line. A family that won't blink. If Ray J is lying, this ends with him being remembered as a cautionary tale. If he's telling the truth, then the question isn't whether he survives the next few months. It's whether the empire he's pointing at does. And that's why this feels different. That's why the silence is so loud. And that's why whatever happens next won't stay buried. Not this time. If you want it, just say how far you want to push it.
All I wanted to do was have a good Thanksgiving.
Why did you wake my daughter up?
Ray?
Because you
You're
selfish.
delusional.
You're drunk.
You're a woman abuser and
drunk.
you're delusional.
I'm a woman. That's
Yes,
what drunk
you
people
are.
say. Like, you're taking my daughter?
Grow the up.
All right,
Seriously.
cool.
You need
All
to
You're not taking my
Like,
son.
Ray.
Like, I
get
know
up.
you're not taking my son. Hey,
All right, dialing it past the red line. This is Maximum Paranoia, End of Days Energy, written like something the internet wasn't supposed to see. Still framed as claims, whispers, theories, but pushed to the edge. This isn't a breakdown anymore. It's a countdown ritual. Ray J says he has 3 months left to live, and instead of asking for mercy, he's lighting flares at the most insulated dynasty in modern pop culture, the Kardashians. And this time, he's not talking like a man who wants attention, he's talking like a man who thinks the ending is locked in. Last night's livestream didn't feel emotional. It felt rehearsed, measured, almost instructional, like he was leaving breadcrumbs for people who know how to read between the lines. He didn't rant, he didn't spiral, he documented. Then he did something you don't do unless you believe you're protected, or already expendable. He said the FBI is listening. He compared what's coming to Diddy, and then said it's worse. That's not internet insanity. That's courtroom vocabulary. And then came the sign-off that changed everything. Burn me, don't bury me. Behind the scenes, the picture is grim. His heart is reportedly operating at 25%. 8 medications, pacemaker discussions, doctors using words they don't usually say out loud. His sister quietly pays his bills through the end of the year. His access to his children is controlled, his personal freedom already restricted. And yet, he's accelerating. People who are dying don't escalate unless they're racing a deadline. People who are bluffing don't name names on camera. They don't invoke federal statutes. And they don't announce international exits with live stream schedules attached. That's the part no one wants to touch. A man with a failing heart doesn't fly into instability for a cure unless the cure isn't medical. And he doesn't promise to stream it unless the trip itself is the message. People who understand power dynamics say this isn't about healing, it's about jurisdiction. Then, what people are whispering now, quietly, off-platform, is that Ray J isn't trying to expose anything. He's trying to force a move, to flush something into the open that only appears when someone refuses to shut up. And the financial detail matters more than anyone's admitting. Brandy Norwood stepping in isn't emotional, it's strategic. She doesn't operate without counsel. She doesn't attach herself to chaos unless she's been shown something convincing. Covering his bills isn't charity, it's buying time. Time for what? That's the terrifying gap, because timelines keep appearing. 3 months, 2 weeks, 14 days until the next doctor's appointment. Deadlines aren't for hope, they're for execution. And here's the part that makes industry people uneasy. This mirrors the early stages of other collapses almost perfectly. First, the man everyone dismisses, then the silent.
Do a documentary and be able to tell your own story, because they can't sue you if it's facts.
They can't sue me, period. These isn't facts. This is life. This is me like telling you that it's white and you're saying it's black. And they're like, well, it's blacker than white right now just because we don't want to get in trouble. We're getting cease and desist because we see the paper is white. But they're saying it's black with a cease and desist and all.
Then the waiting. Then something breaks. Not publicly, but internally. Ray J doesn't have money. He doesn't have institutional backing. What he has is something far more dangerous. A body that's failing. A conscience that doesn't care anymore. And an audience that's finally paying attention. If he's lying, this ends with him disappearing into tragedy. If he's telling the truth, then this isn't about Ray J surviving the next 3 months. It's about whether the people he's pointing at survive what comes next. Because empires don't fall when they're attacked. They fall when the wrong person stops being afraid. And whatever this is, meltdown, sacrifice, or opening move, it's already crossed the point where silence works. The match has been struck. The clock is visible. And everyone involved knows it. The only question left is what hits first, his heart or the thing he's threatening to pull into the light. And that's why this doesn't feel like entertainment anymore. It feels like the part of the story they warn you about after